Okay, we're all set. Thank you. Welcome, everyone, to the May 15th meeting of the Northborough Historic District Commission. My name is Bob Light, Chair. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, an act relative to the extending of certain COVID-19 measures, this meeting will be conducted via remote participation. No in-person attendance by members of the public will be permitted. The order allows the Historic District Commission to meet entirely remotely, so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. All members of the Historic District Commission are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. Members of the public who wish to view the live stream of this meeting may do so by going to Northborough Remote Meetings on YouTube via the link listed in the agenda. This meeting will not feature public comment. Each vote taken this evening will be conducted by roll call vote. Members, when I call your name, please respond in the affirmative. Brian Smith.
I'm here.
Okay, Leslie Harrison.
Here.
Brian Swanson.
Here.
Amanda Millette.
Here.
Millie Milton, not yet. Okay. Brian Swanson.
Yeah, here still.
Did I say your name before? Tom Reardon.
Here.
Lorna Helms.
Here, I am now Van Horn, though. We should change
Oh, I'm
that.
sorry. Right.
It's okay.
I will fix that. And Bruce Shute is not here. Okay. Oh, wait. And I think we have Millie. Not yet. Okay, Millie's here.
I'm here.
Hi, Millie. So you're here. Okay, so we can mark that off. Great. Okay. First order of business is to approve the prior meeting minutes, which I sent to everyone. I can put it up on the screen if you'd like to look at it. We can make changes now. Does anyone have any changes? Hearing none, I think we'll go ahead and approve the minutes. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes for April 17th?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Thank you. Okay. Brian Smith?
Second.
No, and approve it. We're approving it.
Approve.
Okay. Brian Swanson?
Approved.
Amanda?
Approve.
Millie?
Approve.
Tom Reardon?
I abstain. I was not at that meeting.
Okay. And I approve. And I think that's all the voting members we have, right? Did I miss anyone? Okay.
Miss me.
Oh, sorry, Millie?
No, Leslie.
Leslie?
Approved.
Approved. Okay, sorry. Okay. So under old business, we have the CPA project status. I'm happy to announce that the library historic marker has been installed.
Looks nice.
Look great.
Does.
I like the location too.
Yes, yeah, it was, it's very good. Okay, so everyone has seen, I think I passed around pictures of it. Let's see, Norm Corbin is writing up an article for the Community Advocate.
Good.
So he'll send that to me to review, but that should be going in the next publication or two. So
Okay.
that's something we can take off our agenda, which is good. The Howard Street National Register status update. Unfortunately, I have no new updates. I heard it was going to be another couple months, and we're about at that point. The consultant who is submitting the question and answer information has not got back to me yet, but she promises to contact me when it is in and when there is going to be a final presentation for the National Register.
Okay.
So hopefully I'll be able to report on that next month. Last item is the issue of the warped cemetery signs. So Leslie and I have been in discussion on this. And I actually went around to do a measurement of the warpage and inventoried them, and
Very creatively done. Thank you.
very creatively done. If I can actually show you what I did.
So I haven't gone by the burial ground yet to see if
Okay,
If we
so can
replace
you
that
see
one.
that? What I did was I just put a board against the sign, and you can see at the maximum point how it was warped.
Yeah,
The worst one, and this was the worst one. This was at the burial ground, and the warpage there was about 3/8 of an inch over a total length of I don't know what is 25, 30 inches. So it's not you can't see it, and this one is also visible because it's this type of sign where you could walk right up to it.
right,
So-
and it's hanging this way.
Right. I also went to the okay, this is the Brigham Street, and that has a slightly less warpage, but again, there is some noticeable warpage. I went around also to the main gate on Howard Street and the two Kaiser signs, one at the corner of Whitney and one at the corner of Howard.
And the Kaiser ones are the newest.
They're the newest and they were the least warped. So the sense, let me get back to this. Okay. So I think we discussed this, and my recommendation, and Leslie, I don't know if you concur or not, but that the sign maker is willing to replace the sign at the burial ground with a new material that may not warp. The other signs are really not visible unless you walk right up to them. And they're also located in a place where they're more for observation from a car, from street traffic. So it's not the type of thing where people are going to get out of their car and walk over a fence to look at them carefully. So my recommendation is to have the person replace, I think it's Andy Clark,
Mhm.
Yep.
have him replace the worst sign, the one that's more visible from foot traffic, and test out the new material over time.
Hey, Bob,
Yes,
do you know what the existing signs are composed of?
PVC.
PVC.
Yeah.
So is it like solid PVC, like 1/2 inch? Or,
What he said was, let's see, I'm trying to find the email. Let's see. Let me go back a little ways here. It's 1-inch exterior grade PVC. We use that product daily and have had very few issues. The cause is one side must be getting more sun than the other. Heat differential causes the warping. Old days, it would have been done in wood and warped just the same. We can remake them with a HDU foam, high density something, foam product that is less susceptible to warping. We'll make it right.
okay,
It doesn't
Thanks.
say whether it's hollow, but I assume at just 1 inch, it must be solid.
It appeared fairly heavy and solid, but I couldn't tell.
Yeah, my concern about the foam, the lighter it is, the more it's because it's hanging, right? So if get a strong breeze or even a light breeze, if it's just foam, I wonder if it's, well, that says high density, so hopefully it's heavy enough that it's not going to look silly. Why did you ask, Tom? I assume you know
Well,
about
they-
these different products.
well, they have different expansion contraction rates. So if what Andy's saying is that the sun is causing one side to expand and the other side not, that's how you get the curvature. it's like tension and compression. So if you can get a high density foam that's not as susceptible, that's preferable.
That's what he's saying that they would try. But that was a while. Let's see, when was that? That he hasn't been that was a month ago. Well, about 6 weeks ago.
Could you
Beginning of
move the
April.
sign out of the sun? Is that an option?
No, I mean they're 5 signs,
Okay.
and they're not all in the sun. Like even the one, like the Kaiser section on Howard Street is pretty shaded. Howard Street is out in the open. The Whitney Street end of Kaiser is pretty wide open, and Brigham Street, I don't think we could really.
Hmm.
I think the
Enough.
shadiest is the burial ground. Because it has the shade of the church and also the trees around it.
Yeah, that and maybe the Kaiser section that's up on Howard because it's farther up. This seems like a pretty shaded area to me, but I could be wrong.
That seems sunny to me.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. And the at the Brigham Street, again, it's close to the road, but it's also within the fence. So someone would have to climb over the fence, the chain fence, to get up close to the sign.
Okay.
So again, it doesn't look noticeable when you're in the car or from a fair distance. So my recommendation would be, if he's willing to replace the sign at no cost.
That's what he said he was going to do with that one, and then
at
when
the
I asked if
burial
there were
ground.
others, he never.
Yeah, and then we could test it out and we maybe approach him for others, but it didn't seem, as I measured it, I mentioned that the worst one was the burial ground, and that had the maximum warpage of about 3/8 of an inch. The others were a 1/4 of an inch at Kaiser Street.
Yeah.
And they don't have a metal frame around the sign. It's just the plastic.
Just the plastic. I mean, it hangs from a metal post, and then it has the over, and then it's got some chains that it hangs from above. Yeah, there's nothing reinforcing the PVC itself. And they look great. They're beautiful. I mean, they look really professional. They look, Boston Common, and you see similar signs. And theirs probably aren't warping though,
Mm.
or maybe they are.
Or we don't notice it. Maybe you didn't go up with a board like I did and measure. Do we need, I don't think, is it the sense of the commission that we should replace the burial ground sign and see how it lasts?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that sounds like a good option.
Yeah.
I don't think we need to vote on that. Just a sense.
Yeah, we're not spending money or anything. Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, anything else on that, Leslie?
No, that was it. Thanks.
Okay. All right, now we move on to committee representatives updates. First one is the CPC.
Did you go to town meeting?
I did. Oh, we're gonna
Yeah.
cover town meeting. Is that what you want to?
There, it speaks for itself. If you went to town meeting. No, John's perfect track record. Every since it's been 15 plus years that we've had the CPA and enacted, and not a single article has ever failed. And most of them are not controversial, but White Cliffs was back in the day, and the 432 Whitney Street was controversial. But
Okay. Under new business, we're gonna cover the articles from town meeting that have some effect on the Historic District Commission. So we'll go through those. Okay, anything else on that?
nope, that was it. Thanks.
And next one is the master plan implementation, Millie. Oh, and by the way, before you get started, at the last meeting, we voted on representatives for these other committees, and we need to vote for the master plan implementation. So could I have I assume you would like to continue?
I
Really?
would.
Okay, can I have a nomination for the Historic District Commission representative for the Master Plan Implementation Committee?
I
Well-
nominate Millie Milton.
I'll second it.
Second?
Thank you.
Okay. And I guess we have to vote because we're not in person. Brian Smith,
I vote yes.
Tom Reardon,
Yes,
Brian Swanson,
Yes,
Leslie Harrison,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes,
Millie, do you vote? I guess you do.
Yeah.
Billy?
I vote yes.
And I vote yes. Thank you very much, Billy.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's out of the way. So Millie, do you have anything to report on that?
There has been no meeting since the last meeting, and this next meeting was scheduled for tomorrow, has been postponed for 2 weeks.
Just for scheduling reasons or because of events?
Conflict.
Or, okay, not anything to do with the project itself. Okay.
No,
Okay, next committee is the Northborough Revolution 250. And that would be me and Brian Smith.
Yep.
And again, this is not a formal town committee, so I don't think we need to vote on a representative. And we had a meeting, we're having a meeting roughly once a month. Our next meeting is a week from today. The Cultural Council is designing a logo for the Northborough Revolution 250, which is going to go on our banner. And I'm not sure we're going to have it by the time of the Memorial Day parade, but we'll definitely have it by Applefest. I've reached out to the American Legion about the idea that we're going to have a Revolutionary War memorial in town to get some ideas from them and maybe some assistance. Still waiting to hear back from them. And then for one of the immediate goals that we're going to be doing is cable access TV through Terry Underwood. We'll be filming various short videos at various historic sites around town. First one is going to be, I think, the Northborough Tea Party, which was really the first event that we had during the Revolutionary War. Actually took place in 1763. Okay, that's
Wow.
all I have for that. Brian, any other comments?
No.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
Was the Northborough Tea Party like the Boston Tea Party?
It actually predated the Boston Tea Party, which was amazing.
Wow.
It actually happened, it must have been soon after the tax was put on, the tea tax. Boston Tea Party took place in December of 1773. The Northborough Tea Party took place in, I think it was January. So it was way ahead of it. It was basically a tea vendor was coming through town, and they took his tea and they burned it.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Northborough ahead of the curve.
Yeah, we were.
go Northborough.
And also, interestingly, when it comes to in 1776, the Northborough actually voted for independence a month before July 4th.
Wow.
The town of Northborough. That I'm sure there are other towns that did, but they basically said that we'll go along with whatever the Continental Congress decides, but we would vote for independence. So that
So
was,
you're gonna make some short videos or
yeah, that was done in the past. I think actually Lois Smith was involved in that, right? There was the various videos around some of the grave sites of Revolutionary heroes. I think some of it was done for the Northborough bicentennial.
Yeah.
So we're gonna duplicate that. All right. If anything else, next on the agenda would be with Tom. Do you want to talk about the fire station building committee?
okay. Last Wednesday, we had another community presentation at the library, which was showing where we are in terms of design development. And the next benchmark would be June 5th. We're going to get the 2 cost estimates based on the design development. And from there, they're going into construction document phase. We have a few more meetings remaining with planning board and design review, and then they'll continue with the construction drawing so they can get ready to go out to bid. So the design is pretty well set. And they're still working on, detail selections and fine tuning things and efforts to reduce costs. But, it's an ongoing process.
Has there been any more talk about moving the 9/11 memorial to the new firehouse?
That has been agreed upon by the Boy Scouts.
Good.
So John Phelps, who was the Eagle Scout that put together that project, has agreed that that'd be fine. So that's in the works.
Where's the 9/11 memorial?
It's on
It's-
Hudson Street and Pierce corner. Is that? No,
No, I
I'm
think
sorry.
it's
It's
Howard-
on
it's
Pleasant
Howard.
Street.
think
Pleasant
it's-
Street.
It's Howard Street in Pleasant.
It's Pleasant and Church.
Church
Sure, oh,
Pleasant and
right,
Church.
at
right,
the corner.
Yeah.
It almost looks like it's in someone's front yard.
right.
Hmm.
And it's
Okay.
across the street from the proving ground area for the Minutemen.
yeah,
Right, so it's right in that area. Yeah, so it's Church and Pleasant,
So
Yeah.
the lower end of Pleasant, towards center of town, not the,
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
right, not far from the Unitarian Church.
yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, is there anything else? I'm sorry. Tom, anything else on fire station?
No, sir.
Okay. Are there any other committees that we should be involved in? I had a note somewhere about that. I was gonna, well, in any event. All right, moving on to new business. What I thought we'd do, I'd like to just go over the town meeting to just cover some of the articles that were approved and how it might affect the Historic District Commission. The first thing I'm happy to report is that Article 4 was passed, which is the town budget. And our budget actually increased from $500 to $1,000.
Wow,
So, which seems like a lot because it is 100% increase, but we were the lowest budget committee, so we're back to where we should be. Article 43 is the Unitarian steeple was approved. That was a tough one
Mm.
because it did not get a recommendation from Finance and Appropriations, but it was approved and it's good. It's an important part of the town. It's really the heart of our historic district, and to have that bell ring again, I think is
Mm-hmm.
very important. On that same subject, I was asked to write a letter of support for the church. They were applying for the Mass Historical Commission has the, what is it, the Massachusetts Preservation Projects Fund, MPPF, and they're looking for support money to cover I guess, the rest of the expenses. I'm not sure exactly how much they're requesting, but we wrote a letter of support for them, and they liked the letter and everything was submitted. So I'll try to get some information about whether it's approved or not. Article 44, the aqueduct sign was approved. Hooray. So I checked with Lori Connors, realizing that the funds were approved as requested, but the funds are not available until July 1st, the new fiscal year. But I went to Crown Trophy, explained the situation to them, and Lori Connors concurred that it would be okay to put the order in so that it would be ready by July 1st, and then they would invoice us after July 1st.
Oh, good.
So hopefully we'll have it. I did that. Had a bit of a scare because the original quote from them was about $4,300. I added, and they said there might be a slight increase after the new year, because this was back in December. So I added 10% to the proposal for the CPA funds. And when I went to them, they said, yeah, they have to get a new quote from the manufacturer. The quote came in, instead of a 10% increase, it was like 26%.
Ooh.
I couldn't believe how much it is now. It's 5432, which of course is over budget, but Crown was very nice and they said they would only increase it a few $100s to 4,600,
Wow,
which is well within our budget. So
nice. Oh, that was
I
nice.
went, I went ahead and placed the order with a couple $100s to spare.
Well, the guard dog posted at the sign.
I'm going to make sure there's Loctite on it and yep. And if the new one shows up afterwards, we'll put both signs up.
One on each side.
Right, because you really could use another sign, another on the other side. This is
Yeah.
on the south side. We could use one on the north side. Okay. Article 4950, which is the new high density housing zone downtown, passed with some modifications.
Thanks to Lois Smith.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, that worked out very well. And I did have a request from another resident, a formal request that came into town hall asking for historic district to oppose the measure originally because of the historic properties along Main Street. We discussed this at the last meeting, and it was the sense of the Historic District Commission that we wouldn't take a position on that. Our position would be to do whatever we can to maintain historic properties. But in fact, the only section of Main Street that would be affected by the new zone would be the town hall. And it wouldn't affect the Harvey's property, which is along Main Street. That part of it is not part of the new zone. So I responded to her saying that, we appreciate her input, but we elected not to take a position. But I think it worked out well the way it is now. And with a smaller footprint for the Harvey's property, I think that should solve everyone's problems. Okay, Article 58 bylaw changes the design review committee. Adding, I think it says it adds 2 residents with background in landscape, design architecture, historic preservation, which was added, and civil engineering. So my question is the design review committee something that we should have representation in? And have we in the past?
We haven't, but I'd love to hear what Tom has to say because Tom used to be on the design review committee.
Mm.
Well, if you alter a structure on the exterior in the commercial zones, it has to go before design review. But there's nothing in the bylaw for design review that recognizes any historic significance. So you might want to put together some verbiage that could modify the bylaw that gives some historic review standing. And then possibly this committee might get involved. But unfortunately, there are no architects or contractors on the design review now, so they're kind of shorthanded. And also there's not many projects coming through town. So it's kind of might be a good time to take this year of quiet and put something together and present it to the planning board and see if they're in the design review and see if they're in favor of giving some standing to historic properties.
And as I said, the new bylaw talks about having someone with historic preservation experience on the committee. So it would be nice to have someone to speak for historic preservation.
And there's also projects that come before the town that don't trigger a review because they are only reviewed by the staff. That's when you don't have any modifications, say, to the parking or the site. And they're just reviewed by Lori Connors and Bob Frederico. But those could be historic properties. So that kind of project could slip through without any review regarding its historic significance.
Tom, I'm wondering if you might want to draft something that's along your ideas,
Sure.
and then we can discuss at the next meeting as to how we can go about making that change.
Now, would the criteria be the 100-year threshold?
As opposed to what, 50 years?
Well, you could have an architecturally significant building that's not over 100 years old.
Right, right. So it would be 100.
I mean, that's what our trigger is for the demolition.
The demolition is 100 years and also significant historical significance. So I as a starting point, I would say 100 years. Maybe
Okay,
the same criteria, historical significance and 100 years.
all right. I'll put something together.
Great, thank you.
I'm wondering if that's too broad, if it should be tightened up a little bit. Our register, what did we use as the criteria for our own inventory? Is it 50 years or 70 years or?
Well, Macris has been 100 years.
Actually, I take that back. Maybe a good thing to do would be demolition bylaw claim is basically it's 100 years and historical significance. I wouldn't mind making it 100 years or historical significance, because there are properties that are less than 100 years old that would normally, that might have some significance to it, but they're not 100 years old. So So to me, that would broaden it, as opposed to making it 50 years, which would incorporate a lot of 50-year-old buildings that really aren't significant.
Right.
Well, you can still keep the and in. The and would still cover it. So yeah, I don't, either
No,
way.
well, what I'm saying is 100 years or, which would
Right, but I'm saying
include,
50 and would still accomplish the same.
Hmm.
that's true.
Yeah, I was probably splitting hairs, but I mean, one that comes to mind is the Frank Lloyd Wright type house that you just pointed out.
Right, that was less than 100 years old, and
Yeah.
but it is listed as historically significant.
Right. I mean, that's a unique situation, but still.
Yeah. I guess it doesn't matter, but 100 years or would cover it.
But design review doesn't look at residences outside of commercial districts. So 333 Howard would not.
Oh, it's only commercial. Oh, okay. All right, that makes sense. Okay.
Well, anyway, Tom, I'm not asking you for anything really extensive, but just a few bullets as to what your
Yep.
ideas are.
Yeah,
And
we
we-
can discuss it next
You
month.
present that, maybe get onto their agenda. Okay, moving along for town meeting, Article 61, the approved bylaw change for signs, and that was very good because it includes that the sign approval process is now exempt for historic signs, which is something that kind of slipped through the cracks because we didn't even know about that. But normally you would have to go for the design review approval for a sign, for a historic sign, but now they're saying you don't have to.
So now we're not going to jail. That's good.
Right, so we're good there. So that's good that and apparently that bylaw change was a standard bylaw in most other towns. And it was something that we were just catching up to. Okay, other new business, legacy tree program. Not much new to report there. I still need to go out there and somehow measure the Purple Beech. At the last meeting, by the way, we discussed some of the interesting things about the Westboro Nursery. So we have a good story to tell about Westboro Nursery. We will be me and the garden club, Kathleen Hendricks, will be trying to do our best to measure the tree. And Julianne, while you're here, I need a favor from you. We would like to get a formal approval to apply for the Legacy Tree Program since the town owns the tree. So I'm not sure that's something that has to go before the select board, or do I go to Tim?
I'll find out for you.
Okay,
Okay.
just it's
Yep.
we've gone through this to make sure that there were some concerns from DPW as to whether there'd be any restrictions on the tree and whether if it had to be taken down for disease, if there was a problem, and there isn't. We checked with the program. Once the tree is registered as a legacy tree, the owner can do with what they want, but obviously we'd like to preserve it if we could. But there's no restrictions on the town. So but it is a formality because the town does own the tree that we wouldn't be able to apply unless we had permission from the town.
Okay.
Okay.
And just so you know, that there an arborist has already looked at the tree and they're going to do some pruning and whatnot. So just, bringing the tree to everyone's attention is a good thing already.
Mhm.
Good. And yeah, we'll work on that too. I just need to get together with Kathleen about measuring the tree the best I can. There's things with rulers and string or tape measure that you can do to estimate the height of the tree and the breadth of the tree, and then we'll have to measure the circumference. We'll do the best we can. It's a big tree.
When I talked to the town administrator about it, since an arborist will be coming, maybe they can measure it. Maybe they have a,
Oh, yeah, they probably have ways to do that.
Hmm.
That would be
Okay.
great.
right.
Could you who should I speak to about that?
You should speak to Scott. I think Scott Charpentier hired
Okay,
okay, and
I'll check.
I'll see about getting the approval.
Okay, and I'll check with Scott about the arborist.
Yeah. And see if he can,
No, that would save us some time, and I'm sure it would be a lot more accurate than what I can do. Trinity Church, as I mentioned last week, we had a meeting with them about trying to get funds, and they're working on a CPA request for some needed funds, and I need to get moving on the plan to create a historic district around the church. So we'd like to do that. There was a question at one of our previous meetings about whether we want to include other houses in the area, contingent houses that are historical, such as the couple houses, can't remember the name.
Yale Store.
Yeah, the Gale houses. There's a store and a house, and there's a few locations across the street. Depending on the timing, we may want to just keep it to the church at this point and then expand it. But I need to look into that. So that's an action item for me.
Yeah, because there's also that little bank building. There's a lot of stuff
Yes.
right there.
Yeah, it would make it.
Yeah.
Again, the history is that there was 2 attempts to create the downtown Main Street Historic District,
Mhm.
which failed at town hall by a few votes a couple times. But this would be less ambitious. It would just cover a few of the buildings that are basically the church, and across the street a few structures that are all contiguous. So it would seem to me that
Like
there's
St. Levy?
I'm sorry. Yeah,
I said
well,
St. Levy, yeah.
that would be
St.
one.
Levy
It
building. Yeah.
would be up to the owner
The library itself, I would imagine too.
in the library.
So between the library and was it Dr. Ball's house, the yellow house?
Mhm.
I think that's where the difference go from Main Street residential to downtown business. So you want to make sure that your historic district doesn't start straddling business and residential districts, because it get kind of messy.
Mm,
Oh, so the downtown business would be, let's say, Northborough
Stops-
House of Pizza
No, it stops at the library
at the
Yeah.
library. Okay.
going east. But it stops at the church, I think, on the other side of the street. I think it jogs, but I'd have to check that.
Okay. Would there be a problem about going cross zones?
I don't know.
Something to keep in mind. Okay, under other items for the commission, I sent this around to everyone. We received a request from the planning board to write a letter of support for a grant proposal that they're writing for White Cliffs. And this is the Underutilized Properties Program grant. And I think I sent everyone the
Yes.
a link to a description of the grant. I also got some more information from Lori, and it was a proposal they got from the architects, and it looks like what they're planning to do is to remove the new sections of White Cliff, retain the old building, and refurbish it. And
So
I
the
think that,
request is for funds for the DBVW to do the
Yes.
construction drawings and site evaluation, on-site measurements and everything. And that's what they're requesting, are design and construction review funds.
right. Now, Tom, I sent
72,000.
that to you because you had a question about the term that was used in the letter, which was called, let's see, for the design funds.
Yeah, I think we should probably make it clear that it's design funds to remove the additions. It's
Okay.
not design funds to change the use or add on or anything like that, but it's specific for removal of those 60s additions.
yep.
I didn't think design was a good word. It did sound a little confusing to me.
Well, you could say architectural fees for the removal of the additions and just. You're right,
Architectural fees, no?
they're not really designing anything. Well, they would be designing the temporary walls on three sides where the additions would be removed.
Or what about refurbishing? Or
Well, it's really not, I just say architectural fees for the removal of the additions, and that kind of narrows it.
all right, I sent everyone a draft that was created by Lori and also Amy from the planning board. And I made a few edits to it as well. I would like to get this in to them by early next week. So if you could get me any edits to it
Yeah.
by
Okay.
Friday, and I'll incorporate all the edits. I don't know if we want to take the time now to go through it, but
Well, I was
Let me
going to
just-
recommend that we eliminate this reference to European craftsmen and put in the Herter brothers from New York City, who are responsible for the design and build out of the interiors. And the work of the Herter brothers is of more significance than the design architect Seabury.
all right, can everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
All right, anyway, this is the DBVW. Actually, that's not what I wanted. Okay, here's the letter. So we were discussing this right here, the design funds.
Right.
What's your proposal?
Architectural fees for the removal of the additions. Yeah, you probably don't need to do that now.
Okay, all right.
You type like I do.
Are you two fingers?
No, I
Pretty
actually
much.
I took typing lessons in high school.
Tom, how do you spell Herder Brothers?
It's Herter.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Tom, could you just mark up your version?
Yeah, I will, I'll retype this, so it's got some odd phrasing here. Carvings set within elaborate door frames. I don't know what that means. And trim portrayed the wood used laid out in geometric. I mean, it's just, there's some
Yeah.
odd phrases in here.
Okay,
I'll take a red pen to it.
okay, good. Well, I didn't write it, so I don't feel bad. Thank you very much. Okay, so and if anyone else has any changes, let me know by Friday. I'll get this in on a signed version. Okay. Now we're at the part of the meeting where, is there anything I missed? Anything else to report?
One question, Bob. Any word on the Chauncey signs?
Chauncey sign. Oh, no,
Municipal?
no. Glad you reminded me.
Mm,
They were working
Hadn't
with,
thought about it for a while.
yeah. No, I'll have to follow up on that. It was a couple months ago when they, I think Westboro was involved as well, and they contacted them, so we don't know where it stands. Last I was over there, they had the frame up, it's ready to go, so it's good news, at least they have the frame up, so I know they're
Yeah.
not gonna skip out.
Good.
Okay, I'll make a note of that and try to get an update by next meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bob, are you going to send the minutes to the town clerk from the April meeting?
Yes, I'll take care of that.
Thank you. Thank
There was
you.
no changes, so I'll just send it in.
Yep.
Any other
Can I ask a
business?
question?
Yes.
Is there is there any more information about Brigham Street Cemetery and planting trees or whatever? What did the group decide they wanted to see there?
Scott was going to get back to me as to how much was left in the budget. And then what he was going to do, but he wanted to wait until the fall. And what he was going to do with the remaining funds is we want to do a chain enclosure around the grave sites
Uh-huh.
and also plant whatever trees we could with the remaining money.
Uh-huh.
That's all I have at this point. And then at that point, we could decide whether we need more trees.
Yeah, you have $1,000 now.
Well, that's not much, but yeah. And yeah,
No,
that's
I
all
was just wondering because, spring and fall would be the time to plant. And I think they were concentrating on the grass or something, right?
right. Yeah, Scott wanted to wait till the fall to plant.
Mhm.
And he wasn't sure how much money was left over. So,
Okay, just wondering, thanks.
but the grass looks great, though. I wish my grass looked like that.
Speaking of the $1,000, what about the 500? We had talked about ideas for how to spend the 500 for the end of the year.
Right. Well, we spent a little bit of it, but
We should have a meal at one of our meetings at Romaine's. Finish it off.
We'll donate it to the town, I guess.
Well, no, we had talked
If-
about some, oh, it was for the 350, for the,
The
for the,
250.
there's, yeah, the,
Oh, well, yeah, I'm sorry. I am gonna have to pay for the 350 banner. But
yeah,
that's
I
not,
don't think we should leave the money on the table. I think we should figure out.
right. No, I
good uses for
agree.
it. As much as I
One
like
thought-
romaines, I'm not sure that's ideal, Tom.
One thing that I thought of, what if like the Northborough like the blue book or the history books that we have for Northborough, what if we bought them and donated them to the school libraries so that the students could have access to them?
You mean the Kent history book?
Yeah,
Ken and others.
and there's a couple of them, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Here's the Kent book.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know that
And
anyone
then
would
this is
actually-
the
Peter
Mulligan.
Whitney.
and the blue, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And then there's the thin, like the series. There's one on Northborough, there's a whole series of them.
Yep.
Of the,
I don't think,
Like
I
the
know we
picture-
bought a few and
Picture
I
book.
think there might be one in the file, but I don't think we have many left.
To your body. This is a protein drink. You've got all the
Yeah, maybe we could, see what it would cost to buy a set for the schools. Even if we just start with the high school maybe, and as we have money to spend.
Okay, I would,
I like that idea. Also, are there other things for the 350th that you could use it for? How much do we
Well-
have left? You said we've already used some. How much is left and how much will the banner cost?
Is that
What's-
backwards?
Oh, no, it's
No,
not.
we
That's
can read it.
good.
Peter
Wow.
Whitney. Oh, that's nice. Where'd you get that, Tom?
Amazon.
Oh, gotta love it.
They deliver.
Well, I do have an Amazon account, so if we any thoughts who wants to do that as an action item to look into?
I
think
got
we'd
a
have to
lot
check-
of books. I
we
got a
should-
lot of books. I'll look through the books and send you a list of them.
Okay,
Yeah,
Yeah, send me a list, Brian. I'll see what I can
Yeah.
find
does
on
anyone know,
Amazon or whatever.
would anyone want to contact the librarian at the high school to see what they may have already?
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay, see what they might be, what they might need.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see what they have, see if they think there's any, there'd be any interest.
I think that's a great idea.
Good,
Thank
Thank you,
you.
okay. We'll report that next month. If something comes up before the next meeting, let me know and we can maybe do a remote vote.
Yeah, we've only got 6 weeks to,
Yeah, I know.
Spend it.
so are there other things you can think of for the 350th that?
No, things are going slow there, outside of the banner. I do, one of the reasons for the increase in our budget was because of Revolution 250. But of course, that doesn't start until next year, until July. And we are also getting support from the Cultural Council and the Community Affairs. Anything else?
You covered a lot, Bob.
Yeah,
Good.
Okay, yeah, it's been busy. So, could I have a motion to adjourn?
So
So
moved.
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
Second, okay. Brian Smith. Vote to adjourn?
Huh?
Vote to adjourn,
Yes.
okay. Leslie,
Yes.
Brian Swanson,
Yes.
Amanda,
Yes.
Millie,
Yes.
Tom,
Yes.
and I vote to adjourn. Okay, thank you all very much. Next meeting is scheduled for, oh, I'm sorry, no, I should have said that first. Next meeting is scheduled for June 19th.
Oh, it's hard to believe we're doing June already.
Yeah.
Zoinks.
So since that's my birthday, we'll have a party.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh.
Juneteenth also.
June-
It's also Juneteenth, yeah, but
Yes, it is.
Juneteenth came first, then me.
Also, the best baseball player ever played. That's his birthday too.
Who's that?
Lou Gehrig.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
Really? Huh,
How about that?
that's a good historical fact.
It is.
Mhm.
It's not on my calendar. It didn't say that.
How are your baseball skills, Bob?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Actually,
And can
pretty
I
good.
just put a plug in
I'm-
for
I'm actually
the
still playing.
Oh,
wisteria?
you really? Oh, wow, that's cool.
Sorry?
Can I just put a plug in for the wisteria that's growing between the library sidewalk and Millie's backyard at C'est La Vie? Oh my gosh,
It's
it's
looking pretty good, isn't it?
it's like completely all over the tree and the fence, and it's really quite magnificent. If you're going to the library, you can't miss it.
No, I'll go over and look at it.
Yeah, it's having a good time.
Okay, well, if there's nothing else, I think we're already adjourned.
Thanks, everybody.
No.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Good night.